So now that we got one famous movie monster out of the way, I figured we move on to another. And who's just as famous as Dracula than, well, Frankenstein. So let's go ahead, dive into 1931's Frankenstein. Frankenstein came out in 1931 as well, and stars Boris Karloff, and I have to make a confession. I think I loved this more than I did Dracula, more specifically the English version of Dracula. Frankenstein has a vibe, and it has a pace and energy that Dracula does not. When I think of a classic monster movie, I think that is the vibe I get, is the original Frankenstein, not so much Dracula. Dracula, I love the mythos, I love the character of Dracula, but Frankenstein, how it is constructed, how you feel bad for the monster, and just how the energy that movie has. I think I love it more than I did Dracula. Dracula felt kind of pale, and no pun intended, and it just kind of had more of a calming tone through it. Even though, you knew Dracula was this mastermind, you didn't really feel any worry whatsoever. Bela Lugosi's charm shows off a lot more as Dracula, but you don't have any sense of fear. Frankenstein has a madness to it, and a chaotic nature with a Dr. Frankenstein, and then when the monster is on screen, not only do you feel bad, but you can tell that he has this power to him that really shows within the worry of the settlers within the town. And I think that's another reason why I like it, is because you sense this is a powerful character. You didn't really get that so much with classic Dracula, and that's why I loved it. The cast is great. We do see David Frye back again, and we do see the guy who played as Van Helsing back from Dracula in this movie, and they were great in this as they were in Dracula. However, David Frye doesn't get much time to shine in this as he did in Dracula, but the spotlight definitely has to be on Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster, and then the actor who plays as Frankenstein, who isn't called Victor Frankenstein, which kind of surprised me, but that's not the point. Both these two were great in the role. I did really enjoy him as Dr. Frankenstein, and Boris Karloff as Frankenstein. There is a reason, once again, why this version of Frankenstein has lived through the years, and it's by the great makeup design for Frankenstein, and it is Boris Karloff's portrayal as this, I want to say creature, but as the movie progresses, it is not so much a creature, but as a human being, as this misunderstood human being, because his presence, and he's kind of like a child trying to figure stuff out again for the first time, and is misunderstood, and you feel bad for his character, because it is this living being that just, like I said, is misunderstood, and had people just kind of slow down, taken time, and would just not react so quickly, the outcome could have been so much different. But of course, if that was the case, we wouldn't have the classic monster tragedy that this movie is. Boris Karloff does a great job as the character, and he doesn't have any lines. It's his physical acting that he uses, which is so good. Also, Frankenstein, I have to say, he is very much classic Mad Doctor vibes towards the first half of the movie, and the last half is this man who kind of has an inner conflict with himself, debating, is what I did right? And once again, he kind of gets his creation as a God versus man kind of thing in some ways. But once again, there's something that's missing there to keep him from really understanding his creature, which follows up in Bride of Frankenstein, which I may or may not do. The actor that plays as Frankenstein does a great job as well. And this movie does have that, I don't want to call it trope, but I think it's definitely the beginning of the whole man versus creation sort of debate that would follow through other movies. And this movie does a great job of laying that foundation in future films. And I think more so than Dracula, this is one I'm definitely going to have to revisit. And I also want to say, I've watched Young Frankenstein many times throughout the years. And now finally watching classic Frankenstein, I can definitely see where the inspiration came from. And I think it's one I'm going to have to watch back to back. I'll watch classic Frankenstein and then Young Frankenstein. Which, if you guys want me to do with Young Frankenstein, let me know. It's honestly one of my favorite comedies of all time. And it's also a great movie to watch around Halloween. But all in all, Frankenstein, 1931, I absolutely loved it. It is definitely going to have to be in my wheelhouse of what to watch year round, and I think is one that everybody ought to check out. Short review, but there's not much to say about it. It's a great movie. Have you guys seen it? Have you guys not seen it? Do you love it? Do you not love it quite so much? As always, let me know in the comments below what you guys think and any recommendations or suggestions you guys have in the future. Be sure to check out the next episode, as we're going to take a look at Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. If you guys like content like this and want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. And I also want to say thank you guys so much that checked out my GameStop video. It has done very well, and I'm very happy that you guys enjoyed it. So I always appreciate you guys, and I'm really thankful for you. And I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video.